If you have ever wondered whether consulting could be your next big move, or if you've been looking for a roadmap to pivot your career without starting from zero, Amy is here with practical strategies, real life insight, and the encouragement that you need to take that leap. So let's dive into it. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thanks for having me today, Bola. I really look forward to speaking to your audience today.
Awesome. We are excited. We are happy to have you join us today, Amy. I'm going to start by asking you, why did you leave your corporate life and transition into consulting? Why did you make that move?
So, I actually didn't set out to do it on purpose, and I find that a lot of people make career transitions because of external factors. Not that many of us sit in a job that we love and we're well paid and we think, "Oh, hey, this is great, but let's do something different." If you do, I applaud you because that shows a great deal of courage and just interest in doing unknown things and new things. But for me, I was at a startup and it was fantastic. We grew like crazy. We shot up like a rocket. And Bola, when that bubble burst, we crashed and burned really, really fast. So it actually only lasted 18 months. I feel like I got 5 years of experience. But it was great fun. It was a roller coaster, and boy, we crashed when it was crash time. So I wasn't intending to be an independent consultant. I was going about, at that point, I was at the executive level. I was vice president of operations and engineering at that company. So I was going about finding my next executive role. I was at a point in my career where the team that I was going to work with was perhaps as important as the company or product. You get to a point where you really want to work with great people who share your sense of ethics and integrity. So I was really taking my time. Consulting project fell into my lap. 20 hours a week for 3 months. And I thought, this is perfect. It covers the bills. It gives me a little bit more time to look carefully because when that startup crashed and burned, I actually laid myself off and there was no money for severance packages, right? Sadly, nobody got any, money like some of us do when we get laid off from bigger companies. But I thought this is great. It will give me a little time. It covers the bills. Well, I got 6 weeks into that and I thought, cancel the job search. This is the life. I'm now a consultant. And
Wow.
I've never looked back.
Oh,
However, I have made every mistake that you could possibly make along the way. Some of them more than once.
okay. No, that's interesting. And I like the way you open to sharing your journey. How does it different from corporate work in terms of maybe lifestyle or mindset? What can you tell us?
So everybody has a little different view or flavor of consulting. So let me start there by saying what I mean by consulting. I want you to be a superhero with a superpower making super pay.
Uh,
So I'm not talking fractional. Fractional to me, it works for some people, that's fine. That's more like a part-time job. I'm talking superhero, superpower, super pay. So, but I'm also talking about taking all the skills and experience that you have from your corporate or professional career, because some people are professionals, but not necessarily thinking corporate. So it can be either of those things. But people who have a substantial amount of experience and or education or some combination of those things, taking those same skills and abilities and selling them on your own. So you get to go into a corporation and be the expert. So some of the things that people think about with consulting is they think, well, it's sort of a cop out, or surely to have all that freedom and flexibility, you must make less money than you made in your corporate career. So I'm here to tell all of you right now that you don't have to sacrifice your career trajectory. It's still an upward path or pay. I have more impact on my client companies as a consultant than I did as an employee. Have you ever, any of you ever been in the position where you're sitting there presenting to your management or the executive team or the board or whatever it might be, whatever stage you are in your career, and you're thinking, if they would just listen to me, if they would just listen to me. When you're a superhero, superpower, super pay, you go in there and they listen to you. I remember telling my dad in the early days, my dad was he's gone now, but he was my best business mentor. And I said, Dad, I have to be really careful about what I tell them because now they do it. So it's very satisfying to have that impact. And I make more money than I did as a corporate executive, not less. Now, I was not a corporate executive at Meta. Okay. I was not making, I don't know, one of those $20 million a year or something like that, but I was handsomely paid,
Yeah,
right?
good.
And so those are the things that I like to talk about. Then in terms of lifestyle, I get to make the choices. I choose the what, when, where. Now, I still have to have services. I still have to offer something that somebody wants to pay for. I still have to get results. Still have to satisfy my clients, but I can choose who I work with. I can choose what the projects are. I can choose when I work. When I first started, I have always done all of my work remotely. That's very common now, but when I got started 15 years ago, it wasn't common.
Um,
So the freedom and flexibility, whatever it means to you. I have two kids, they're 12 and 22. So my daughter has actually started her professional career now, but I still have a little guy. And he happens to be dyslexic. And that means he goes to a school that's 30 minutes away. So I spend 2 hours a day driving. But I have the flexibility to do that because I can have my work around what works for me, what works for my family. Not everybody has a family, but let's say you've always wanted to train for a marathon or take a fishing trip with your sons or play golf 3 times a week. So, billable at the beach is an aspirational idea, whatever that beach is to you. The idea is that you get to decide.
this is awesome, Amy. I like what you said, superhero, superpower, and super play. I want that for my
Yeah.
to go into consulting. Are there some I'll call it qualification or requirements that people need to have before they can start this consulting journey?
Yes, you need four things:
So,
brain power,
mhm.
business experience, a computer, and a phone.
Oh, okay. Those are
What are the odds that everyone listening to us today has those things?
everyone should have that.
Pretty, even my daughter by this time, she didn't have
Have
business experience, although she used to go with me to all of my speaking events and presentations, and she would pass out handouts and introduce herself. It was pretty fun. But what I really want to say is, what are the qualifications? Those. So I hazard a guess that everyone listening today, although I do in San Diego, we have a lot of colleges and universities. I think because it's such a nice place to live that the kids like to come here. So I really enjoy speaking at universities. Fresh out of university is not a time to be an independent consultant. You might go to work for McKinsey or Booz Allen or somebody like that, but you don't have enough experience yet to be a superhero, superpower, super pay.
yeah.
So when I first got started, I had done a lot of startup, like big startup companies. Well, they were small when they started, but like venture funded, you know, C corporation type things. I didn't really know what it meant to start my own consulting business. I didn't know, was there this big mountain of stuff that you had to do, or was it just a little hill? And I'm here to tell you right now, it's just a little hill. And my whole focus with my people is land a project, get a check in the bank. You don't need a website, a business name, a logo. You don't need all of that stuff to get started. Do you need it at some point? Absolutely. First, let's generate some revenue. it's not a business unless you have money coming in. So
That's
I
right.
want everyone to really focus. Like, I don't know about you, Bola, but I work because I have bills to pay.
Same here.
If I didn't have bills or, I dream about winning the lottery. And so it's funny because that was always my fantasy. And then many years ago now, I made up my New Year's resolution. I believe in attainable New Year's resolutions like flossing your teeth, or I decided that I would always have a lottery ticket, just $1 or two. But I couldn't, how could I say if I won the lottery, well, at least I play. So I have a little chance. But if I won the lottery, I would be busy, but I would be doing something different. I would love to be a professional philanthropist and just figure out really great things to do with my money. Right now, I still have bills to pay.
Okay. No, I appreciate you for saying what you just said. And specifically, you say you don't need to maybe have a website to start. You said we can get it started and get it going. Then, of course, later you can or make it more formal. So, how do we get it started? To someone out there listening to us right now, what is
Yeah. So I've been speaking and helping people get started for years. And I didn't set out to have something like Billable at the Beach, but as I went through my days of consulting, I was out in the community a lot. I was interacting with friends and colleagues, and people would start to say, Amy, it seems like this is going great. You have a great lifestyle, you're making money, you love your projects, you love your clients. Like, how do I get in on this? I've been thinking about doing it. Can we get together for lunch or coffee or something? I'm a very operational, diligent, practical person. So I would think, well, okay, what do I love? What do I hate? What do I wish I would have known? What would I do differently? I've made all the mistakes. And so I started to accumulate a body of material. So as I've now started this program, Billable at the Beach, to help people get started, I realized that I had a very simple process for generating business. I call it 3 action steps to generate revenue now. And just a quick note for everybody out there, I have a free email course on my website. If anyone's interested, you can find it and jump in. It doesn't cost a penny, but it's very simple. So, step number one is to define your value proposition. That is a fancy business term of talking about the goods and services that you offer. It's your elevator pitch, it's your pitch, it's what do you want people to buy? How do you help them? What do you offer? As consultants, we offer services, not an actual product that you ship. Number two is make a list of people that you're going to tell. This is people that know you, everyone you've worked with in the past, colleagues, friends, family friends. I have actually made a lot of good business relationships going on school field trips over the years. It's your doctor, it's your dentist, it's your car mechanic. I was talking about this one time, and I do a lot of in-person speaking as well. And somebody raised their hand and said, and your car mechanic, which now I include on my list. And I said, well, I'm thinking, why do I want to tell my car mechanic? Like I'm looking for a, you know, business kind of stuff. He said, here's the thing, Amy. Um, I drive a Mercedes. My dad drove a Mercedes. All my siblings drive Mercedes. You know how those car things sometimes like go through I know for us, it's just in my family, it's just easy to just always buy a Honda. We have a great sales guy and we don't have to think about it. We just kind of figure out what flavor, like are we in the minivan phase, or our college daughter what needed a sedan. Now I have a little mini CRV. Um, and he said, I was at my Mercedes mechanic one time and we were just chatting because like he knew my dad and he's known me, and I said, yeah, I'm between jobs. I got laid off a few months ago. And he said, well, why didn't you tell me? And he said, I was thinking, well, why would I tell you? And he said, look, I'm a Mercedes mechanic. Who do you think my clients are? My clients are executives and business owners and successful people. So I have a lot of amazing relationships because when you think of I know why I go to my mechanic, because I trust him, right?
right?
I trust that rather than going to the dealer, I trust that he's going to only do what I need, that he's not going to try and sell me extra stuff. So the reason I like that story is you have many more relationships than you think. And so you make your list of 100 people. I attract a lot of technical people because I have an engineering background. Sometimes they look at me and they think, I don't know 100 people, by definition. It's a stereotype, but it's kind of true. They tend to be a little bit more introverted, and I have my introvert side. But everyone does. If you're thinking, well, how do I find those people that I worked with 15 years ago? You go on LinkedIn. And if you start searching Meta or Google or Hewlett Packard or IBM, whatever that might be, it will find those people that you used to work with. So you make your list and then you start reaching out. Just a simple short little email to each person. What you're doing, this is a system for hot lead generation. You're reaching out to people who already know you, at least a little bit. They know you do good work. And then you're looking for someone who has a project that's appropriate for your skills and the budget to pay for it. I have learned, because I've taught the system so many times, out of every 100 people, you will probably likely hear back from 3 to 5 people who will say, you know what, Bola, I might have something, let's talk. And out of those, the odds of closing one or two of those projects is very high. So it's kind of a quick, easy, you don't need a website or a business name or any of that stuff. You're reaching out to people sort of quick and dirty and generating a project that then I've had people use this system and be doing billable work as soon as a couple weeks from now.
Oh, that's so good. So now you have Billable at the beach. Let's say someone they want to reach out to you so that they can work with you and set up their own consulting practice. Can you walk us through the process?
Sure. So you'll find me if you search on Billable at the Beach. It's billableatthebeach.com. Billable at the Beach, I'm on LinkedIn as Amy Rasdal. I've got a lot of great free content. I have the free email course that I talked about. I have a webinar that dives into my program, but then I have a program that is really designed to get people started. There's an online course and then every other week coaching. So in the online course, you can I when I started 15 years ago, I didn't have the online piece. We would just do it kind of offline one-on-one on paper, but I realized I could sort of automate with just a whole I have about 40 short little videos, workbooks, templates that takes you through step by step. And then we get online live every other week and we talk about what are the blocks that each person is experiencing because everybody's different in where they're struggling, what they're figuring out. It talks about how to do the outreach, how to write your first proposals, how to kick off your first projects. And then, although I'm saying you really don't need to do any infrastructure type stuff to get started, when I was just getting started, I was kind of like, really? Are you sure? So I kind of do go through all of that stuff too. Here's all the things that you will need, but you don't need them right now. So I keep people really focused on land a project, get a check in the bank. I'll tell you that a fair amount of the live coaching is I sort of call it boot in the backside. So keeping people out there doing the outreach, that's the hard part. All of us have done, whether it's job search or whatever it might be, it takes a lot of energy and courage to do the outreach. But there's really simple ways. You don't have to be a great salesperson. Anyone can learn it. I started as an engineer. I figured out how to do it. And there's one of the things that one of my superpowers in Billable at the Beach is figuring out where each individual is feeling blocked about moving forward and kind of getting them unstuck. So, for example, I say make your list of 100. Now, you're a very outgoing person who likes to talk to people. That's why you have this podcast, because you really like talking to people. Somebody else, so if I say, Bola, make your list of 100, you might be thinking, oh, yeah, I can make a list of 500. Somebody else who's listening might think, 100? There's no way. So when I'm with that person, I say, you know what? Just let's start with one. Between now and when we talk again, reach out to one person. Then we do two. then we do five, and then you get on a roll. You know how the first time you do something, it's so hard, and then you kind of think, okay, I got this, I can do it. And there's nothing special about me being a consultant, right? You have to have some experience, but there's nothing special about me. Pretty much anyone can do it. It doesn't matter the functional area. I just had somebody reach out yesterday and she said, "Well, I'm not a marketing person. I'm not a chief marketing officer. I don't think I can do consulting." And she just had never heard of anyone who is a consultant who did anything other than marketing. And I said, "Oh, I mean, every accountants, technical, speaking, scientist, it doesn't matter what your functional background is. All of it, companies need all of it. So
Mm.
it doesn't matter what you do."
Oh, that's so good. So, when we started, you said you've made many, many mistakes, and I'm sure you've learned
Yes,
lessons from there as well. Can you share some of the mistakes you made and the lesson you?
absolutely. And so one of the big, some of the big things that are in my program is helping people avoid those mistakes that I made and I see instinctively sort of the proverbial everybody wants to make. First one, not charging enough.
Ah.
Almost everybody wants to charge less than they're worth. Once in a while, I'll get someone who thinks they're worth, something more than the market will pay, but it's extremely rare. So when I first got started, I wasn't charging what I was worth. So that's the big thing is to have the courage to charge what you're worth. Never work for free. It doesn't pay the mortgage, it doesn't pay the college tuition. There's no reason to work for free. There are a lot of people who think, well, I'm new at this, I should do some project. No. And guess what? You're not new at this. I'm not telling you to do something new. I'm telling you to do what you've been doing for years, for your selling it yourself and offering it. So the projects that you've been doing inside your profession or your company, you're going to be doing the same things. It's not something that you haven't done. My flavor of consulting is not the time to do something totally different. The how, what, when, the ability to have completely your own choice is different, but not the work content. Never work for free. Never sell all of your hours to one client. If you give any one client 40 hours a week, you very quickly become a de facto employee.
Yeah.
But you're not getting benefits, you're not getting vacation pay, you're a de facto employee. So they kind of own you without the upside. So I never give any one client more than the equivalent of 10 or 15 hours a week. Now, it can be sold hourly, it can be sold retainer. There's many different ways that you can sell it, but never give all of your hours or all of your capacity to any one client. And it's instinctive. It's a little scary to go out on your own and be an independent consultant. It's instinctive to just want to lock in all of your hours of one client. No discounts, no volume discounts. You're a superhero, superpower, super pay. If you want FedEx overnight, do you pay less or do you pay more?
More, absolutely. Yeah.
If you want a superhero, do you expect a discount?
No way. No.
No, no
Mhm.
discounts. Your
Mhm.
time is worth it. Your time is the only asset you have that you can never get more of. You can get more inventory, you can get more warehouse space, you can get more money. Once an hour is gone, you can never sell it again. Don't discount it. The other thing too is it goes along with the not giving any one client all your capacity. Don't take up residence. Don't live full time at the client site, right? That's the idea of giving them only part of your capacity. And you never know for sure when a client is going to disappear. You can have all the watertight contracts, whatever in the world, but I learned that the hard way, right? My pipeline had slowed down a little bit more than I wanted it to. So I sold 30 hours a week to one client, and the project was supposed to go for 9 months. And I thought, shoo, I could stop doing all that networking and selling, and I can just do work and make money, and this is going to be awesome. I got a couple months into it. It was year end. The CEO walked into executive staff on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. and said, "Guess what? We are not on track to meet our numbers for year end. You guys are not on track to get your bonuses. We need to slash expenses." What are the first three things to go when it comes time to slash expenses? Travel, outside services, and consulting, right? The consultants go. So, the executive that's over my project comes out, it all rolls down here. They said, "Okay, Amy, you're done." Well, this was a big company. I work in medical devices. This is the biggest medical device company in San Diego. So, am I going to sue them?
Yeah.
No, no, I'm most certainly not. I was able to negotiate an additional 30 days, and then I took my toys and I went home. So that can happen. Some of us have been laid off. You don't usually think it's going to be you. It's the same thing. So you don't want all of your eggs in one black basket. It sort of diversifies the risk. So those are a few of the big mistakes that I see sort of everybody wants to make.
Thank you, Amy. That was so good. Now, as we are wrapping it, do you have any message that you want to give to my audience so that they can know more about this consulting and especially how they can connect with you so that you can also help them in their own journey?
Yes, I really want to say, whether it's consulting or whatever it might be, you're all here because Bola is your career evangelist, right? I want to really give all of you the courage. I'm another example. It really is possible to have the life you deserve, the life that you dream of, the career that you deserve and dream of. It takes a little courage. You don't need to make a big leap. You just need to start taking some steps. And I would love to help you. My website is Billable at the Beach. I have free resources. I have a book. And I would love to have you, of course, in my paid program. But come on over and take a look. And I just want to say it's really easier than you think, and all of you can do it. I promise.
Thank you very much, Amy. This is so good. And I look forward to also connecting with you to learn more about what you do. Thank you very much for sharing your experience and the wisdom that you share with my listeners on this show. We appreciate you, Amy.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate all of you too.